Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Last time you saw me a couple of hours ago, I was playing a 3D platformer inspired by N64 and PS1 platformers of the era. Now I'm going to show you a 3D platformer that's inspired by N64 and PS1 games of the era. So there's a little theme here. This is Lunistice, and it's probably maybe the best platformer that came out last year. And it's a wonderful game, super fast, extremely enjoyable to watch, very cute as you see. And with me today are my two wonderful co-commentators. For one, there's Shovel Claws.
Hello, I am a variety speedrunner. I use its pronouns. I have played this game, and I've IL'd the first two stages, but there are a lot more stages than that, so I am largely unfamiliar with this run, but excited to watch. Gonna be fun.
And also with me is Jaxler, who's the current world record holder. As of now, like in the past week, it switched hands, I think, twice. But yeah, Jaxler, introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Jaxler, but don't let that distract you from the fact that this game is only $5 on Steam.
It's
So
only
true.
$5.
It's so
buy
true.
this
It's
game.
so good.
So good. And I will start the file now. The time will actually start when we gain control in level 1. I will tell you when it's time for time. But I will let the intro sequence run. And I will let Shovel Claws explain the most important tech in this game.
The one thing I know, thank God I can explain something. So, the biggest tech in this game is called spin jumping. In this game, you have three jumps. First, a grounded jump, because every platformer needs a jump, and then a double jump in the air, so just pressing this jump button again in the air. But you can actually get more height with an attack. You can use that attack on the ground, but we'll be using it in the air most of the time, which gives you a little bit of extra height. If you use your double jump and then spin immediately as you do, you'll get a lot more height, more than either of those could do alone. So we'll be using it to break a lot of levels, get way more vertical height than we could otherwise, and it's a very, very big part of this run. You'll see it a lot in the first stage, just immediately out the gate. I think we do like 3.
That was mwah. Yeah, and that first level, so time starts now. And like
Boom. Just right there.
immediately, like we start the game and immediately turn around and ignore the path before us. So this very first section in this level is like the barrier of entry if you want to be a top speedrunner at this game. Like if you nail this beginning, then you're ready for all of it, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
There's a much harder IL strat in that beginning too. It's pretty funny, but we don't do it because it's inconsistent.
Yeah. One of the things to know when you're seeing TheHellfridge do some of these shortcuts with the spin jump is that there's a range of windows in which you spin after pressing your jump, and you'll still get the input. But the closer you line the two up together, the more height that you'll get. And some of those tricks, like you saw at the beginning there, require like the utmost amount of height in order to clear over the gap. That's a 44. That was a really good.
That's a really good time.
Alright, so right at the start of Act 2, you're going to see him do kind of a little skip strat here. There's like a couple in the early game, there's a couple of these little sort of platforms that are kind of just put out there for decoration, but you can just kind of use them as solid platforms. The first couple of the levels are pretty straightforward. The name of the game is just cutting the lines from where we need to go as fast as possible. You know, if you're racing in a car, there's two ways to go faster than somebody else. You either move at a faster speed or you drive less of the track. And so that's sort of the big name of the game, because we don't really at the current moment have the tools to go faster. We'll see those tools once we get to some later levels, but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These first two stages don't have any special gimmicks. A lot of the later stages do, and we'll see them as we continue through this run. But the first two stages are very, very straightforward. I also do want to point out the enemies here, because they are mostly pretty heartless, but they're all very funny and very cute. I like them a lot while playing through it.
The umbrellas are not harmless. Like
Okay, that's true.
They are vicious, and they get me every time when they shouldn't.
they're evil.
So I just want to highlight how incredibly cute this game is. So like, I think we mentioned it before, but just to say it again, like this is a $5 game that you can buy for $5 on the internet, and it looks beautiful. Like aesthetically, it's just mwah, right? The sound, like the music you're hearing.
The music,
is wonderful.
oh man, the
It's
music's so good.
Like, I would call it personally. I would call it anime. That music is very anime, and I mean that in the best sense. Like, I can imagine a Japanese pop song to each of these tracks. But
Yeah,
nobody's
definitely.
gonna pay me for that.
Yeah, so you're gonna see the first sort of movement gimmick as we go into World 2 here at Beach is these little bubbles. These bubbles kind of just like take you along like a dotted line to the next destination. What you'll kind of see HellFridge do is ride it most of the way there. Because when you're getting transported by one of those, on average your speed is a lot faster than like your grounded walking speed. But there's going to be some spots where we actually jump out of the water bubble early. For example, if we're trying to take another one of those corner cuts. But like this one, for example, we're just going to ride it.
Nah. I'm gonna go out early anyway. Like, I subverted your expectations.
More speed. But yeah, this is like as close as a water level that this game gets. Thankfully, there's no like super
we're still gonna
janky
go
underwater
to
physics.
we're still gonna go to the Blitzball Stadium.
Yeah.
That's still coming up.
Yeah. Fun fact, those last couple of platforms at the end of the level actually changed between the most recent patch of the game and the one before. They used to be like beach balls on like cube platforms, and then they moved the beach balls up but put trees on the side. Kind of funny. So coming up in this next section, we're going to be going into sort of that blitzball arena, and this is where we're going to start to see the spin jump really come into play here.
Yeah.
Some of these jumps that we're going to be able to make is going to allow us to skip a couple of the like these sort of tiny little square platforms that are put in for us that are really small. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah, I've tried this strat on my own. I can't hit this stuff. I need way more practice, but it's so cool.
Nice.
And HellFridge doing it without any pain, just effortlessly.
Yeah. That last one's really scary too because you have to get up and over like that little bit of a crystal that's sort of put it on the side there as a decoration, and like every crystal hitbox is a little bit different. It doesn't quite always look like its model, so it's like trying to do that sometimes is really annoying.
Yeah, some of the models in this game do definitely kind of deceive you with what you feel they probably should be, but we do take advantage of that in quite a few levels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so in general, the first two kind of worlds are pretty straightforward. Their tricks are pretty like dense at the start. But once we start getting into World 3 and beyond, that's when sort of the difficulty and complexity will start to pick up a lot more.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Worlds 3 and 4 are the big dividers. I would say. But yeah. Oh shit, I fell down. Oh no, that was a trick. It was completely planned.
It's a joke!
What's the point?
Oh no, I cursed. I wanted to keep everything PG. I failed. Oh, dang it. Gosh darn it. Can I uncurse the curse?
You've already cursed yourself. So
It's
sorry.
over.
It's over.
It's over.
I've chosen my own coffin or something. There's an idiom there somewhere.
There's an idiom on stream right now, buddy. That works if you twist it a little bit.
Like craft myself like a paper hat and like write idiom on it.
All right, so we're heading in the park. This is a lot of people's people's favorite sets of levels, and it's just good vibes. And again, the music's great.
This level is such good vibes. I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole game is a vibe. Drexler, thank you for this jump here.
Yep,
Like
you're
this-
welcome.
getting onto that tree and jumping over that before we went there from below, which wouldn't work every time, and this works every time, and it's wonderful. I love it.
So we're gonna see the first of these water rails in the game. They're kind of like grind rails from 3D Sonic games. And
Shout out to
so
Sonic.
what you're gonna see
One thing I
HellFridge
know.
do is spin after getting sort of launched off of the ramp. Normally the launchers in this game send you in like a set direction, but if you use a jump or a spin, it'll actually sort of like you'll still have the momentum of it, but you'll actually sort of like loosen, like you'll stop the animation of you being stuck in place. And allow yourselves to go a bit faster. And so you can use that to, in this example here, it allows us to take some corner cuts. So we can do one right here, and that kind of gets us sort of past the checkpoint and towards these speed booster panels, which are one of the best parts of the game, as you can probably see.
Definitely. They're pretty
I love the
straightforward. I
little-
don't
I
think
love
there's any
the-
major tricks.
I love the little lines that show me that I'm going fast.
Yeah.
It's such a little flourish, but it's like
This
oh,
game definitely feels fast even when you're playing it casually. I remember like having trouble controlling Hana at the beginning when I started playing it just because
So coming
it
up
felt
with the
so
cool
fast.
trick. Boom.
Nice.
Normally there's a loop-de-loop normally there, like in Sonic, where the camera pans out and you go around the loop-de-loop, and it's very slow. But if you're greedy like me, you try and just pass the loop-de-loop, and sometimes it works on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going
up
into
is- Oh yeah, please.
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
got you.
Go for it.
Coming up next is one of the hardest tricks in the run, which is called Pink Crystal Jump. Hellfridge is going to attempt to skip a good chunk of the level by doing a spin jump here, delaying the jump, and then using the second jump. Nice.
Getting that first try is huge.
That's a really hard trick, and we got another one coming up right after this. This level's super broken. He's gonna start running on the boost panel, jump around the tunnel, and then catch the water slide that's sort of ending on the other side. But we're not done yet. He's gonna jump to that water slide a bit early, and then we're just gonna be running on the side of this tunnel here a bit. He's gonna probably take the checkpoint for safety.
Yeah.
And then we got one more skip. We're gonna take this water rail up to here, and then that water rail that's kind of sloping down, kind of takes us to the last little section of the level. Boom, right into the booster. That was really well done.
That
Dude,
went
that looks so
beautifully.
smooth.
That was my heart stopped there for a second.
Yeah, that's definitely like one of the hardest levels in the game.
I'm very glad that worked.
It's really rough to get it, but getting it first try is pretty massive. That's really nice.
Yeah. Like I set my estimate a bit generously just so I would have time to try like this one, like the one we just saw, and one in the next level after
Yeah.
this. So I can like give it a couple of tries.
Yeah.
So Jax, one, do you want to talk about rhythm?
Yeah. So this is World 4.
talk
This is
about
World
the
4.
rhythm.
This is World 4. This is, I would argue, the hardest world in the entire run. Both acts are brutal, and that's because all of the red and blue platforms, you can see, are on a set cycle that's based on the rhythm and the music in the background. So if you can't hear the audio, well, I don't know how you're listening to me right now, but there's also those little music note indicators on the bottom that are sort of color coordinated, so you can tell which platform's coming in when. And this all starts at a global cycle at sort of the very, very start of the level. So basically what we're doing is kind of like keeping track of where all the platforms are, where we are in the beat of the music, in order to sort of determine where the platforms are going to be in advance. And if you do the same set of movements and go very, very, very perfectly fast, they'll be in the same spot every time. That can be really, really hard.
I also want to point out that the platforms aren't the only thing moving to the music's rhythm. If you notice the spikes here, some of the decorations that bounce around, and some of those rolling pins from like 20 seconds ago now, they all move to the music, which is very important for this upcoming trick.
Yeah.
Like,
So
can you explain what a dango is?
yeah, so this is Dango Skip. Hellfridge is going to be doing a really tough spin jump into double jump off one of these sort of Dango things that's in sort of the background. They're like these like three candies on a stick.
Yeah.
And they bob up and down with the music. And so Hellfridge has to get kind of like do a running jump off of it at a certain timing as it's going up and down. That was a really good backup, though. Normally, what we can do is using a specific angle at the very start.
Get this checkpoint.
Get the checkpoint, please. Thank you. We can kind of line it up by using the music and like very specific angles on the control stick, so we get it every time. But it's actually really hard to back up if you accidentally break the crystal. We didn't really mention it earlier, but a lot of these crystal platforms that we're using break either if you use your attack on them or stand on them for too long. And so Hellfridge has to be kind of careful in some spots where he's relying on them for a specific strat.
Yeah, my short spurt of playing individual level runs, that bit me a lot because I wasn't quite sure when to use the spin jump, but...
Yeah, also when we get through to this section here, it goes into double time, so the red and the blue alternate every beat instead of like every other beat. And we got those spikes in the way that are there as well. This at all levels of play, this is, I would argue, the hardest level in the run.
Yeah, I was stuck on this level casually for like 2 hours. It was rough.
Yeah, because the better and better you get at it, like the tighter and tighter the cycles
Yeah.
get. And there's like
yeah.
an optimal cycle that saves like 3 or 4 seconds, but it's like impossible. Well, it's not impossible because people have done it, obviously. It's worth noting as well that there's going to be some of these sort of graham cracker platforms that are around these booster jumps. These were actually put in through the newest patch. The dev continually over the course of this game's launch and sort of us speedrunning it has implemented a couple of rebalancing things as well as make things a little bit less annoying for speedrunners, and that was one of the things that came in the last patch. It actually ends up making
crackers.
Yeah. It actually makes it faster as well because you can take tighter lines too.
Yeah,
so it kind of just works out for everyone.
There. I mean, I already used that crystal right before there when it was there, and I'm so happy about these crackers. Also, like, I wanted to just highlight how you mentioned that, like, us runners, that we keep track at all times at in what mode, like, the platforms are. And I'm just like, no, I'm just totally winging it.
It's totally fair too.
And this is why Jaxler has the world record.
Exactly.
All right,
I don't know what color underwear I'm wearing.
Yeah, so welcome to the best world in the game. This is Forest. Yeah, favorite track of music. It also just looks the best. Like the aesthetic is just gorgeous. We're gonna see these tree rails. The main difference between these and the ones that you saw earlier is that on later ones there's going to be a mushroom switch that we have to hit in order to grow all of the tree roots, sort of out from the tree themselves. However, whenever you see this, it's just an animation that plays, and the hitbox for the tree root is actually there the whole time. So you can get on these rails like early in a lot of different ways, and so long as you know you're landing on it, you can actually continue to ride the rail while it's invisible. So right here, you're going to see TheHellfridge land on the speed boosters, and then do a bit of a shortcut to jump over to this mushroom, and then do a spin bounce on it. So these mushrooms in the level, so here's another example that's kind of shortcut. He's going to get to it early as it's growing around. But the big thing with the mushrooms is if you spin right after bouncing off of them, similar to a spin jump, you get a ton of height off of them, and so we'll use that in a couple of spots as well.
It's so satisfying. Like
it's so good.
It's so
everything
cool.
about World 5.
The rails in this game just feel so nice to ride. It brings me back. Shout out to Spark 3 that has similarly satisfying rails. I have to show a little bit.
Just want to shout at the dev, like. Lunistice 2 is also already like in development, and it's kind of like this is N64 PS1, and we're just jumping into the Dreamcast era, and it's gonna be hype.
Yeah.
So if you like, just I think what we haven't mentioned yet, this game is $5 to buy.
I don't think we've mentioned that actually. That's
right?
Weird that we haven't mentioned that yet.
Exactly. So it's $5 to buy. There's already like an announced sequel that they're working on, and I think like they could use money to like work on good stuff that you're seeing here. So like, I think it's a win-win situation.
The game definitely deserves it. There's so much love that goes into it, and like the dev is super, super cool. We talked about it some earlier, but the dev has literally changed things to make things easier for speedrunning.
Yeah, like one sad thing, like as you can hear, the music in this level sadly is broken. Like they have not been able to fix it at all, so that's why we're just gonna stay in the quiet for a bit.
Gotcha.
And in this level, you have to go into the 3 corners of the world to activate some stuff, which will make a bubble emerge, and that bubble will bring us into the second half of this level. But yeah, just for now, just like vibes, just touch some grass.
Relaxing PS1 game sounds to fall asleep to.
I just wanted to see like how long I could make the silence go on.
Oh no!
Coming up is a really cool jump where it's like you already think you can go this, and this looks super swaggy, but it's actually kind of free. Like this is a trick that you can try at home if you buy this game for $5 now.
You're now a speedrunner.
Yeah, exactly. Like you gotta start somewhere, and this is just like very satisfying to pull off, and it just looks cool. And that's also something that speedrunning is about: doing stuff that looks cool.
Exactly.
But yeah, I really wish there was some music by now. Like, it's
kind of unfortunate that we only hear the best track in the game for one level, but
exactly,
it's whatever.
It would be wonderful if the best track in the game would just make a return, but sort of like in a creative way, where it ties in with what you're doing in the level, you know?
I feel like he's alluding to something.
In an intentional,
No, he
completely
can't
not
possibly.
broken way.
Yeah, you also noticed there that we restarted the checkpoint immediately after hitting that water droplet. Wait, it's back. Yeah, we restarted the checkpoint immediately after hitting that water droplet. That just brings us back to a second water droplet. We hit a checkpoint like way earlier, and it just brings us all the way back.
Exactly. So we're basically, there's 3 paths that we have to follow, but we're basically switching paths in the middle, activate one of the 3 things that we have to activate, and then take back the checkpoint, and the first bubble, the first tier kind of thing stays activated.
Yeah, because I don't know. You mentioned that we have to activate a bubble. The way we do that is by hitting these 3 water droplets out of these crystals, and so that will free the water, and then we're supposed to like take a rail back to this beginning section. We're just going to
That's
restart the
slow.
checkpoint again.
So this bubble has a notoriously bad hitbox. Sometimes you just jump around like a fool for like a couple seconds until it finally accepts you. Here comes the best rail in the game because it looks like it's over, but it just keeps going. And I learned that like yesterday or 2 days ago, I learned that in the new world record by Jaxler, which is like a rad run. You should absolutely.
I also
check it
didn't
out.
know that. I was like, what? Because you were doing it in practice. I was like,
It's wonderful.
How?
So this might be a good opportunity to talk about like the categories. Like you might have noticed that this category is called any percent glitchless, because in World 5 in particular, there's a glitch. I think it's been outpatched, but you can downpatch and still use it. I think I'm not 100% sure, but you can like get stuck on the rails and sort of glitch out of the rails and then just fly through the air, which trivializes a lot of World 5.
Yeah.
And because it's like a lot of this depends on like one glitch being pulled off, it's been made into a separate category.
Yeah, I think also in a like way earlier patch, there was like a menu storage glitch of some sorts. I don't know too much about it. All I know is that it existed.
Yeah.
But we
Also,
could
yeah,
basically just play one stage out of every world and then skip to the next one.
Right. I actually forgot about that. That was also a thing. Right.
But yeah, so that led to
much more
category
egregious
split.
glitch.
Yeah, it's a much worse glitch, arguably,
I
playing
made
half
this-
the game.
I made the story worse. Oh no, I'm gonna take
Okay,
it.
I'll pick up the pieces. But yeah, that got patched out a while back, I believe, and I feel like it's kind of fair to patch that out. But you can still always down patch. I don't know, is it in the beta branches for the game? I know some other games do that.
I have no idea. Oh,
Well,
Lordy.
you can down patch, I think.
Gotcha,
That was
okay.
unfortunate. Glad that I
That
took
was unfortunate.
Glad that I took that safety checkpoint.
Yeah, here you're just doing the same thing that we used on those booster panels way back in like World 3 or something, World 2. These little, what do you call them? Geysers? Just do the same
Yeah,
thing.
geysers. I think.
Air dryers.
But yeah, we're just spin jumping out of it, and we get to control Hana better.
Also, by the way, welcome to Celeste. Like, this world is just Celeste.
Yeah, I can see it. A little
A
bit.
little bit, right? It's also like, we have praised World 5 so much, but also gotta say, Wanderlust is wonderful. I love Wanderlust.
Yeah, 100%. All the game's
Also,
music is so great.
Also, I love it when, like, the English just takes German words and just uses them.
I do want to point out, this level, like 10 seconds or 15 seconds ago, had a big maze that casually you're supposed to just walk around, go up, down, all around. We can just stand on a crystal, do a spin jump all the way up, and then immediately go just straight past it, just zoom right past it. It's really cool. I like that a lot.
Like, World 6 is very zoomy in general.
World 6 is very zoomy.
It's also, like, after, like... 5 is not as bad as 3 and 4, but it's still like a very technical level. It feels like World 6 is very much a breather before the finale.
Yeah,
just like
and you'll
good
need
vibe.
it. 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah.
World 7 is intense.
It is.
So enjoy the sides, enjoy the big zooms.
I will say, I think this stage is actually, or this world is actually my favorite. I just like how it looks a lot, like the huge crystals. Unfortunately, those crystals don't have collision, which would be so cool. But also, we'd probably be able to skip most of this stage, so
Yeah.
I kind of get it. But also, man, that'd be cool. But yeah, I just love how this stage looks. And like all the weird, I don't know what you call them, the things that are the rails, the weird, flyer tapestry things.
Gosh, darn it.
Yeah, the
that's
clothesline.
Almost
unfortunate.
cursed again.
Yeah, the clotheslines, that works.
They're like little flaggity flags that you
Yeah.
put there for, like,
They're adorable.
when you do a parade.
Yeah, they give me big parade vibes, and I dig it.
There we go.
All right,
I-
made it.
Yeah, that jump can be a
Stubbornly-
little bit tricky.
I stubbornly insisted on that working.
I said it earlier
What is it?
in the run, but these jumps can be very deceiving to make. Spin jumping is hard.
Yeah, and not only that, there's a bit of finesse that goes into it when you're
Definitely.
timing like that. Not only between the spin jump, but you also have that third jump resource as well. So it can be really tricky because sometimes you have to combine the two in different ways in order to get the height and distance results that you want.
When
And then we
thing
have
I
coming
think-
up this checkpoint.
One thing I think wasn't mentioned, but yeah, this is a tricky jump. One thing that wasn't mentioned, like when I'm on the rails, like you see me attacking a lot, and the reason for that is you see the little Tony Hawk kind of thingy. If that's in the middle of the green zone, you go a tiny bit faster than if you're just on the edge of it. And if I attack, then the needle is fixed in place, so that way I can like try and make the speed as fast as possible. So coming
All right,
up
so that's going to
is-
clean up World 6. World 7, here we go.
Let's do this.
Yeah, this world is so cool.
World 7 has like kind of like it technically has 3 levels, but oh,
Hello, is Drexler still there?
Jaxter is dead. Inshallah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Anyways, Jaxter was gonna say that this world has 3 levels technically, but I believe for that 3rd level you need to get the true ending, or that's part of doing the true ending.
Exactly. So all of these collectibles you see here, there's more of them. There's like 4 letters and a bunch of notes that you can get in every level.
Yeah.
Oh lordy, I missed that. That's unfortunate.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That jump's really cool if you can hit it, but it's also really.
It's also
yeah.
like,
So what
normally
Hellfridge was
doesn't go
going
wrong.
for there for oh,
Is he gone again?
Jaxler internet is unfortunate.
Hi,
Shout out to
Jaxler.
internet service provider here.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not in the US.
Yeah, it's rough out here, but yeah. Oh, he's back.
This is gonna be the
Can you
big
hear
mystery
me?
of
Can you hear
worlds.
me?
I can hear
So,
you. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
my internet is out, so I am on self coverage right now. So pray for me.
That's so unfortunate.
So let's do this again.
All right, second try.
By hitting these enemies
Nice.
in mid-air, it like resets your jumps, so you can jump and spin jump again, and that way you can just like skip a big part of level. Also, I'm on 1 health. I should probably be mindful of that.
Yeah, these big lasers are also very cool and very intimidating. I like them a lot. Also, these disappearing platforms, just gotta say, they're so cool. They just vibe. This game just vibes.
Even
good vibes.
casually, this world like that. This is where the platforming gets real. Like even casually, I think these are some really tricky jumps.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think I did try when I was playing casually in this world to hit that jump that gave you trouble earlier. The one where you use the booster pad, like even casually.
Yeah.
So like, this game definitely invites the player to be really, really stylish about how they can use the momentum to their advantage. It's really
Yeah.
cool. Kind of makes
Yeah.
for a really good speed game.
This
Have I
level's
mentioned it's
also-
$5?
Yeah,
$5.
only
And look at it. I'm in
$5.
space. I'm
You
in
are in space. It's so
and there's
cool.
like black space cats with like glowy eyes, and I can jump on planets. Also, tricky jump coming up. I didn't hit it. So we want to see
No.
more space. Oh no, I can just die here. Yeah.
You say that like
World
it's a bad
7
thing.
Exactly. Like, look at this. Like, see, it's the same planet again. I'm gonna attempt the same jump once more for your enjoyment.
Exactly.
This is like probably my least favorite jump in this entire game. These 4 tiles there that are arranged in this weirdly specific way, they can trip you up so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that's just kind of scary, especially like if you're on a PB attempt, is like you're just moving on these like booster rails the entire time at full speed, and so like doing like the your sort of turning acceleration's a bit different when you're at that higher speed because you just have a lot more that you have to control, and so it can be like it can get real butt clenchy when you're at this point in the run.
Also, shout out to Earth, which we just passed, which is supposed to be a platform in this stage. I just noticed that.
Yup.
You're good with planets, aren't you? Fun fact.
All right. And we got one more level to go now, so we're almost done with the run. The butt clench doesn't end here. 7-2 has a lot of cool tech to it. So the first thing that you're going to see Hellfridge do, not this booster rail, but over the next one, you're actually going to see him take intentional damage on the laser. That's because it's actually slow. There's 2 sets of lasers, laser walls, and it's actually slower to jump over the both of them than it is to just take damage on the first one and keep going through. And then you're going to see him do another one of those spins out of the launcher right there, and then that gets him closer too. So this level, the way it's set up, is it's kind of like a sort of exam or a final test.
Yeah, it's everything combined.
Yeah,
in reverse order.
In reverse order. All right, so this strat's really cool. So what he's going to do is he's going to kind of get the checkpoint, jump with some momentum, and he's going to jump off the tree rail and then kind of guide himself back over to the booster. Nice. Yeah, so that booster is at the end of that tree line rail, and so he jumps off the booster to give himself extra like height and momentum to pull him towards that and skip that section. So now coming up, we have another one of those rhythm sections. So yeah, this rhythm section is also global, even though you might not like be able to see it for quite a bit. It's tied to the music, so whenever you get here, the platforms will just kind of snap to adjust. If you get here with like perfect everything, you can do a little bit of a shortcut to skip the second red platform, but it's really risky.
Yeah.
But you can do it if if you want.
I remember that section giving me a ton of trouble casually because again, that world just beat me up. But
in a previous patch, there used to be a strat where you could pause the game and then platforms would keep rolling around underneath you. But yeah, right here we're going for something really cool. He's going to spin out of this launcher right here and skip over the checkpoint on purpose. What this is going to do is carry the speed booster momentum into the water bubbles because things like bounce pads and water bubbles and stuff continue your speed, and then that right there lets him skip that first umbrella platform right there.
Such a cool strat.
That's one of the coolest, most hyped things in this run. It just looks so swaggy.
It does.
Yeah, so we got one more section here. Holy cow, that was
so close. That was a good save. Holy.
We got a couple more platform shortcuts in here, and then we got one more big trick in the run called elevator skip. So that green platform is an elevator that takes you to the end of the level. So what he does is he brushes up against the side of it, which activates it. And then what that does,
no way.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never seen that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so hitting the elevator, like normally there's an invisible wall that prevents you from leaving the boundaries of the elevator, but if you hit it from the side, it still activates. Then you just fall into the void and die, and the game auto sets your checkpoint to the top of the area. So now we're at the end.
Yeah, I believe that's time.
That's Lunistice. Also, what you didn't notice, there's a ton of lore in this game, by the way.
Yeah, so much.
Like, I'm
still
not super deep into it. Like, I appreciate it, and I love the work that went into it. I don't know much about the lore, so this is the bad ending that we're getting now. There are other categories, so if you like this, definitely check out the speedrun.com page, and there's also a Lunistice Discord. Currently, like most people are off the any percent train, are like exploring all the other cool categories. There's other characters. There's true ending where you get collectibles. There's 100% where you get even more collectibles. Jaxler, what else did I miss?
Have we talked about the 3 extra characters this game gives you when you complete the first
it's two.
first
Yeah,
story?
So there's
2,
Or-
yeah.
Well, 2, yeah.
So there's beloved baby chicken Tori from renowned platformer series Tori.
Love Tori.
Tori is so good. Play Tori
And
as
then-
well.
Yeah,
Also by a
and we have
German dev,
Kiki.
so like
Yeah.
weird niche.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, you got a 28. Nice.
2841. That's it's not a PB, but it's my PB is 2740. Still want to get a sub 27 eventually.
I don't think
yeah.
we've talked about how this game is $5, by the way.
Either way,
Yeah,
this game
and fully
is $5.
fully functioning IGT.
And
Yeah, it's great.
Every little cent of these $5 will go towards you having a good time.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Even casually, this game is just a great 3D platformer. If you're a big fan of 3D platformers, this is a must-play from last year. There were a lot of good 3D platformers that came out last year, but this is by far in the top
Just
5.
From the everything put together, this is a wonderful game. It's a wonderful casual game. It's a wonderful
100%.
speed game. Shout outs to the Lunistice Discord. Shouts to my family as always. I don't have a Tanuki hat yet. I have a frog hat. I don't have a Tanuki hat yet. But
Get this man a Tanuki hat.
yeah, thank you, Shovelcloth. Thank you, Jaxler, for hanging out with me. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Run was good.
Do you want to shout out anybody, anything, anyone? You can find me at twitch.tv TheHellfridge. How about you?
If you have anything, Jaxler, I have one thing, but I'll let you go.
Yeah. Again, shout outs to the Lunistice Discord. Shout outs to all the other runners as well, and shout outs to the devs for making such an awesome game.
Yeah.
And
Composers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Jesus.
Was this game made mostly by one person? Is that correct? Am I wrong in saying that?
I don't want to help the myth making. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool, fair. As for me, the only shout out I have is that tomorrow on this exact Twitch page, I'll be doing 2 runs of my own. First, Little Gator Game, which is an adorable 3D action adventure game. And second, Super Kiwi 64, which is weirdly tied into this game because Tori is in this game, and the dev of that game also made Super Kiwi 64. So weird crossover, but all universes are connected somehow.
You're witnessing the emergence of the German 3D indie platformer extended universe, basically.
Exactly.
Also, Tori has a hat in Frogon, which is my other speed game.
That is true. Oh my god. Everything is connected. Me and Hellfridge play too many of the same games. I'll be real.
It's like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with Tori. It's like.
Exactly, but I'll have more shout out during those 2 runs, but I'm not gonna spend my time on this run shouting out anything in specific.
Yeah, don't spoil yourself, because
exactly.
you still have your own runs. I want to thank you all for this really fun run, especially for Jaxler's and Shovelclaw's reactions when Hellfridge was going for some pretty risky strats. Really fun and great commentary. I learned a lot.
I know. Sorry, I forget I'm not on solo comms. I'm sorry.
Well, you're allowed to take the compliment. Well, Shuffle will be seeing you tomorrow, and for the rest, have a great day. We're going to intermission, so stay tuned with us, because next up is Metal Gear Solid 3 HD Edition. With a special version, we're going to do all the Karatans. There are 64 Karatans in the game. So, and it's going to be very tricky if Nick's going to get it. So stay tuned, and see y'all later.